Hey everybody, so today we're going to chat about cognitive fluency, and this is super important if you're a teacher or if you're receiving information yourself and you might not understand why you're having problems processing it. It could be, it's actually not your fault. So believe it or not, if you can ease the speed at which people can process information, yourself included, they will trust it more. They will believe it to be more real, and this trust affects their perception and motivation. And this is clearly demonstrated in the famous font experiment. And if you don't know what it is, I'm about to explain it. Using your imagination, let's propose there's two individuals, we'll say Tony and Tina. And they do online workouts, and they get their workouts emailed to them every morning in written format. And they both get the same workout. Tony wakes up, Tina wakes up, Tony strolls to his laptop, pops open his laptop, drinks a triple espresso because he's going to get after it, and lo and behold, his workout is difficult to read. The font doesn't stand out from the screen, so like the font coloring is very light, almost like a light gray, and it's in cursive. So he's reading it, but it's difficult for him to read. He knows how to work out, he knows how to read, but it's just difficult for him to read because of that lack of contrast between the color of the letters and the way the cursive just kind of flows into the one word or one letter into the other, so it's hard to distinguish the actual letter. Tina, on the other hand, she does the same thing. She strolls to her kitchen, pops open the laptop, maybe she has a wheatgrass shot, she's like, a little more healthy. And she can clearly read the workout. And for the argument's sake, let's say the workout is like an imam, right? So every minute on the minute. The difference with her email is that it's very clear. The font is very dark. They use block letters, so it's very distinguishable. It's easy for her to process what she has to do. And here's where it's going to get interesting, right? Let's say they've both been working out for 10 years. They both know their bodies really well. They might even both be teachers, and they're just subscribing to this online workout because they want something different. What's going to be interesting is that before they start their workout, if you were to pull Tony to the side and ask him, hey, what do you think about that imam? How do you think it's going to be? You think it's going to be hard? Are you going to be able to do it? His answer is going to surprise you. He's going to say something to you like, yeah, it actually looks pretty tough. And tell the truth, I don't really want to do it. I'm not really pumped up to do it. And I doubt that I will do this protocol again, right? But if you ask Tina, what does she think about the workout? How does she feel about it? What's her motivation or attitude about it? She's going to be pumped. She's going to say, not only will it looks like it's super easy for her to do, but she actually likes the layout, so she might do it again, and she can't wait to get started. The only difference between Tony and Tina was that Tina was able to read her information clearly and process it fluidly. Tony was not able to do that. He had to really struggle to get the information into his body. Now, here's what's fascinating. If the process by which you pick up information is difficult, if it's not fluid, if it doesn't flow, if it doesn't transmit into your mind quickly and easily, you're going to associate that difficulty of comprehending it with the actual action or task itself, because you have less trust in it, which means you're going to have less resolve when it comes to your approach to it, because you don't believe it as much. It doesn't mean that you don't believe that it doesn't exist. It just means that because it was so difficult to comprehend, to process, you just constantly have to second guess yourself, because it was very difficult, which means that if that was difficult, then the actual thing it represents in reality is going to be difficult as well, because you have the symbol, which was difficult to understand or do or read, and then you have the actual thing in itself, so they both got to be the same. That's kind of how your mind works. And that's pretty fascinating. And this, you wouldn't be surprised that this actual experiment they did at the University of Michigan, they did it with a workout, just like I described, and they also did it with the sushi recipe, and it was the same thing, the same outcome. You know, they put the sushi recipe and the workout in this hard to read font, cursive letters, one group and the other group, they didn't. They made it very clear, and the group that they made it very clear to, not only were they able to make the sushi and do the workout, but just the way they did it was much more coherent, right? Whereas the other group wasn't as successful because of that. And if you think about that, it makes a lot of sense. And if you start to bring awareness to what it is that you're saying or what it is that you're reading, is it cognitively fluent? You know, or when you are getting information, is it because you don't understand it, or is it because there's no clear contrast? And then when you go to actually do whatever it is that was in the instructions or the directions, you're probably not going to want to do it. And now you kind of know why. So something to think about. And when you start to realize or embrace this idea of cognitive fluency and how if you process things fluidly, which is interesting to note that if you do this frequently, you're going to get into the flow state. You know, vice versa, if you're into the flow state, your cognitive fluency is going to be ramped up. You'll be able to see patterns better, but it's everywhere. So if you think about the alphabet, you know, if you think about the fact that we read, it's standardized from left to right, at least in Western cultures, numeracy, like there's all these things that if you didn't have the ability to, say you weren't literate, it would be very difficult for you to get around the world. It would be very challenging. And you would view things as being more complex and burdensome than they are. So yeah, I hope that helps. And if you're a teacher or a coach, you know, if you're writing a format to somebody, make sure it's very clear. If you go to a class and go to teach, make sure you're very clear in what you're going to do. So, yeah, if you have any questions, please send me a message. Bye.